Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cab Crew Wednesday. How's everybody doing? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Good. Yeah, so I was trying to bring my StreamYard up in my office tonight, and it wouldn't work in there for some reason. It wouldn't pick up the audio or the video off of my computer. It was really strange. So I was going to do it in there because I was going to do some stuff on that workbench in there, but that was okay. Thanks, Russ. And it was really strange how it didn't work in there. So I just set it up in here again in the train room because it's always working in here. So I just wanted to say hello to everybody in the chat so far. Got quite a few in here tonight. Let's see, first one in was, I believe his first name was Ken, Cubber Ken. Hello, how are you? If it's not Ken, let me know. And then Dwight Curley showed up. Hey, Dwight, welcome. Then we got Russ from Russ Rockin' of Old Train Stuff. Hey, Russ, welcome. How you doing tonight? Then we got John from Schuylkill River Valley. Hey, John, how you doing? Glad to see you in here. Then we got the other John, John Nippenberg. He's going to be popping in and out. He's heading out to Kansas City tomorrow morning, so he's got things to get ready. Then let's see who else popped in. John. Then we got Derek Alexander. Hey, Derek, welcome. How you doing tonight? Glad to see you in here. And let's see, anybody else new popped in? Everybody just saying hello to everybody. Yeah, Chuck Schreier just showed up. Hey, Chuck, how you doing tonight? Welcome. Glad to see you made it in here tonight. And that's it for everybody, I think. If I missed anybody, just give me a heads up. My brother just sent 6 steers to the sale and 6 to the butcher. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, chickens are here. That's right. Yeah, they're playing in the background there. So all the hellos are done. Anybody else pops in, I'll just interrupt and say hello to them. And so we've had some up and down weather here in New Jersey. Over the weekend, it got up to the 80s. Now it's back down to the 60s and the high 60s. So you ate one of those chickens tonight? Very good, Derek. I hope it was tasty. So it's been raining almost every day here. The sun comes out, then it rains. The sun goes back, then it rains. And but at least I got my grass finally cut. Took a while to do both the front and the back, but this time I started out in the front, did that because that was almost a foot tall, the grass out there. So it took me a while to cut that. Then I ate lunch. Then I started I came back and started the back, got halfway done, stopped, ate lunch, took a break, and and got the grass cut. But that was enough for the day. I didn't do any of the trimming or anything. So the next nice sunny day, I'll get out there and do the trimming and do some weeding and get rid of the weeds and stuff. So yeah, I have frost warning tonight. Yeah, it's kind of strange weather for this time of the year. May is supposed to be warm, right? April showers bring May flowers. Well, never know what you're going to find anymore. So that's what was going on with the weather. Hello, Alfonso. Welcome. If I get a chance, I will. Yeah, I saw that on the news. A lot of snow out in Colorado. So after the show last week, I was working on all the signals and I got them sort of straightened out. And I was finishing up on the subway system. And then I said, I was checking the subway system signals. And, I said, I'm going to move them. So I spent all the last few days moving the signals on my subway system. They were all mounted on the platform and they were hard to see, even in the camera view and everything. So what I did is I took them off the platform and then I mounted them on the walls, because that's where I remember seeing them when I drove the subways in New York City, on the walls, not on the ground. So it took me a couple of days to get them all done. There was a lot of work to maneuver them around. And when I put them in, I glued them in place and I had to break the glue. But then the glue went in the hole where the wires were. And that was tough to get the wires out of the hole. So I had to take like a flat screwdriver, small screwdriver, twist it in there to break up the glue. And then some of the wires came off, and that was okay. I just soldered them back on. It was no big deal. So when I took the lights out, the signal out, then I put it on the workbench and tested it to make sure all the lights were still working. Then I put them in, and I didn't turn the system on because I was waiting for my NCE PB5, which is a 5 amp booster, to come. Because I was explaining last week that I found out that the Tam Valley 5 amp booster wasn't really good for that, what I was using it for. So I said, well, I got the 5 amp booster in. It came in the mail, came a day or two early, which was good, from Tony's Trains Exchange. And I hooked it up. I connected it to the existing boosters. There's like a telephone wire that plugs in, and you connect it to the next one, and they daisy chain, and that's what gives them all connected to the main command post. So got that. And on the meter I have that tells you how much voltage and amps are being used by the system. I didn't have the track out wires connected to it, just the input. So I turned the system on. Hey, Bob, welcome. No worries, never late. I turned on the system, and I noticed that I was getting 13.2 watts. So I said, okay, good. That was good. And there was 0 amps because there was nothing connected to it. So the next day, after I finished up all the signals on the subway system, the next day, which was yesterday, I turned it all on and the meter went ballistic. It was 13 volts, but the amps was 4.5. Oh, Derek, that's a conduit for wiring. That's those guys there with the, yeah, they're working on the wiring on the conduit in the subway system. So that's what that is, Derek. So, and that goes all the way around the subway system. And anyway, so I, thank you. And so what I did was I went underneath the layout, and there's 3 bus lines that were connected to that booster, the Tam Valley booster, and they were all on a terminal block, and they were connected to the booster that way. And when I went to, I said, let me disconnect. Well, first I called up NCE and I talked to him about it. I said, hey, what do you think's going on? The amp, he says, you have a short on your system somewhere, and 4.5 amps is maxing out your 5 amp system. So I said, okay, I'm going to disconnect one of the bus lines. So I disconnected one of the bus lines from the terminal block, and then the amps went down to 2.4, which is good. So I said, okay. I took one off and it cut it in half, a little bit more than half. And then I said, let me put just that one back on. Well, that one was 2.4, 2.5 amps itself, that one bus line. So that one bus line takes care of the entire subway system and the new yard I put in. So those were new things that I added recently within the last year or so. And that's what was causing the problem, was that the Tam Valley booster, is a 5 amp booster, and I was using over 4.5 amps when all the signals were on. So it was too much draw for the booster. So that's why the lights weren't coming on and all this stuff. So I took that one bus line that handles both the subway and the yard, and I left that off. And the other 2 bus lines are on the new booster I got. So I said, well, let me see if I can get the Tam Valley booster to work again just for that one bus line. I emailed their support. He responded back. But the problem is that the power supply I have for that booster only gives out 8 watts, and that's just not enough. And I asked them if they had a different one, but I didn't get an answer back from them yet. So, well, if it's drawing 4.5 amps, then that's a problem. That shouldn't be drawing that much amperage, Alfonso. Engines should draw not that much at all. The older engines, who knows why they did it that way? That's because they were running DC and not DCC. That's why. So anyway, I then, yeah, the motors are, yeah, they're designed for running with DCC decoders, which require 2 or less amps. Okay, so and anyway, so the booster. So then I decided I'm going to get another booster. So I found on eBay some guy selling another PB5. It was a little bit cheaper, and it comes with all the components that I got the new one from Tony's Trains Exchange. And so I ordered that, and then I said I'm going to need a meter for that zone. So I went to Iron Planet Hobbies, and they had an NCE meter in stock. They only had a couple left. So I ordered that today, and they shipped theirs out already. So the booster will probably be shipped out tomorrow because it says 1 to 2 days to ship out, and it's coming from Georgia. So that next week, the stuff will be here. So I'll probably be able to get the signals working. So today, with the signal, so the subway. So the signals, I split up those bus lines so that the 2 are on the one booster and the 1 will be on the other booster when that one comes, and that'll fix that problem. So, because I didn't realize that it was using that many amps on that Tam Valley booster. So that was you never know unless you had a meter on the device. So so the new booster is on order. It's coming. That's going to be zone 6 because that'll be the 6th booster I have. And the meter is on order and it was shipped already. So that's good. Yeah, that's why transformers are huge. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For Alfonso's question. Yeah. I know my G scale locomotive draws 3 to 5 amps. Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's DC. That's not DCC. So if it was DCC, it wouldn't be drawing that many amps on G scale. And those are older locomotives, so they're going to draw more power. That's the way I understand it, anyway. So, so I've been working on also printing 3D printing cars for those car carriers that I have. And I got a bunch of them printed, and Barbara was painting them for me. And I said, okay, let me put one on the second row and on the bottom. Well, I couldn't get a car to fit in there. They were too high. And let's see, what's this here? Oh, okay, Friday. So anyway, so it wouldn't fit in between. So Walters made those bottom 2 rows very low. I don't know why they did that, but so Steve Childers is doing the same thing, and he had the same problem. So he just made the cars a little smaller, but I don't want to do that. So I found a car that I'm making that'll fit in there. in that row. And then I found another car that I have that I 3D printed, and it fits on the bottom row. So I'm going to make them and fill up the cars with those kind of cars. And on the top row, it doesn't matter how big they are. So that's what's going on with that. And I've been on a small resin printer, my 4K. I was printing one car at a time, and that takes a long time to do. I have 60 cars I need. So I said, wait a minute. I'm going to on the layout broth. Oh, brother. Okay, I thought it was a broth. Yeah, he's yeah, I saw that too, Bob. He's got his train running finally. So it takes a lot of time when you're changing things around. So on the small one, I decided to try printing 4 at a time. That's how many I can get on the small build plate. And that worked. Then on the big printer, I tried printing the cars on that printer, no matter which model I put up there, and it wouldn't print it. And I go, what's going on with that guy? And I looked at the screen on the printer, and there's a big blotch in the middle on the screensaver. So I think what I'm going to do is put a new screensaver on the printer, and then I'll see if I can print then, because that build plate I can get, you know, I think I got 8 cars on there. So that'd be a lot better than one at a time, because what I do is when I 3D print, after the print's done, I take the whole build plate and put it in the water, and I leave it set until the morning. Then I get up in the morning, I take the metal blade scraper and just get underneath the supports, and it pops right off. No struggling with it. I take it over to my desk. I have a paper towel there, put it down, and then I grab the supports on the bottom of the car, and they just pull right off. It's beautiful. And so that's the best way when you get resin printing. After you print with supports on it, just dump everything in a bucket of water and let it sit there. I let it go overnight. Maybe it could be a couple hours. I don't know. I just let it go until the morning, and then I go. So later on this week, I'll try to work on that big printer and switch out that, see if I can get that thing going again. And that'd be nice. It would help out printing a lot more, and then we get them done. So, but I'm still working on the engines, and that new engine, the coder buddies came in. I installed that in that engine, and it worked. Hey, Chris, welcome. How you doing tonight? And so the decoder buddy worked, and I put it on a track and tested it. It was going in the wrong direction, so I had to flip the wires for the motor on the decoder buddy. Then it worked. I envy the detail possible with resin, but seems like a giant chemistry experiment. Yeah. Well, Bob, that's just it. I started out with resin printers because I wanted to print um, tiny details, and filament printers can't do that. But now with the newer filament printers, they're getting to be more and more detail oriented. So, but there's certain things that you can't print with filament, and certain things you can't print with resin. So um, I have both, so I can do whatever I need to do. Like the cars, I would never try to print them on a filament printer. They just wouldn't come out right. And so I'm not going to even attempt to do it on there. So anyway, then I got a 21 pin Tasami 2 decoder, and I plugged that into the decoder buddy, and then the engine ran back and forth nice and smooth, but it had no sound and no lights yet. And the sound, I ordered a scale sound system speaker, JT Burke, and it took him a couple of days to make it, and then he shipped it out, and that's going to be here tomorrow. It was supposed to be here Saturday, but it's coming tomorrow, which is good. And then I can get that engine together and working. So that's I'll do a video of putting that thing together if I can, and we'll see how that goes. Oh, well, I had a real swimming pool, Bob, but I would never make a model of one. I have there's a swimming pool on my layout. It's at the motel on the first level behind me, and it was a part of that kit for that motel. Just a flat water-like thing with the deck around it and a diving board and stairs that go into the pool. I have some ladies in a bikini sitting on a lounge chair by the pool. And we just found a 3D printed woman, and then Barbara just painted it with like a bathing suit on it instead of painting the clothes. So yeah, real pools. Yeah. Yeah, me too, Bob. No more pools for me. When I built my pool, we just got done built. I just got done building my house. A year later, we put the pool in, and I don't know about Tom's trains, but I know Jim does. Jim has a beach scene. John, he has a beach scene. I don't think he has a pool. He has a beach scene. A pond. Well, ponds are easy to make, Dwight. Just get the water material and make a pond. Not hard. Yeah, beach scene, right. That's right. That's what he has, a beach scene. No swimming pool. I have a swimming pool on mine, my layout. And I have a lake. And yeah, it's a nude beach. That's right. That's right, Russ. I don't know where Jim got his people from. I know he couldn't print people. He has a resin printer now. I think if uh, I printed people for him and sent it to him. I gave him. He sent me a photo himself, and then I 3D printed it, and then I emailed them down to him and stuff like that. So, um, so it was not yesterday. Today's Wednesday, right? Monday, I got up, I let my dog out, and I hear noise, and I go, "What's going on?" So I look out the window out front, and there's two cop cars parked between my house in the front and the lady next door house. Two cop cars, and she was out talking to the two cops, and they were looking at the house across the street from her. And I don't know what was going on over there, but there was no cars there at that house. And there's always a car parked in the driveway, and there's nothing there. Hasn't been a car there all week. And I don't know what's going on, but I can hear the dogs in the house. They have two dogs or three dogs, two or three dogs in the house. And they always come running across the street, and they try to get in to see my dog all the time. And so, but later on in the day, the cops were there again, and I saw the youngest boy that lived in that house. He's in high school, I believe. And he was there, no car though. And the cops were talking to him, and then the cops left. I don't know what he told them. Maybe they went on vacation or something, and maybe he's going to school. He couldn't get out of school or something. I don't know what's going on. Really don't care. But I was just weird to see cop cars sitting out front of my house and at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't get a chance to talk to the lady next door to me to find out what was going on. But next time I see her out, I'll ask her. Just strange how you never know what's going on. She might have heard the dogs barking in that house because she don't like barking dogs, and she has a dog. And whenever her dog barks, she tells it to be quiet, and it quiets up. And I feel sorry for the dog because he can't bark. You know, they have to bark sometime. So it's funny. My dog, he goes to that corner of the yard, which is on her side. Her house is that way, going that direction. And hey, Ken Amos, welcome. And he sits over there by the fence and barks out at the street because the people might be walking by. He always barking over there, and I have to yell at him because I don't want her to get mad because he's there barking and not, so I call him in and stuff. So, but it was strange to see the cops there and everything. KOA fish. Well, has anybody seen that commercial on TV where the father is driving the kid's sitting in the back seat because I guess he's only 8 or 9 years old. He's a young kid, and he has this artificial fish in his hand. And he's holding the fish. He's going to take it to the water to let him, to free him up, let him go free. And what he did was he puts it in the lake, I guess, and the fish has a battery in it and it's floating around the water. And then a bear jumps out and then grabs it. And then the guy covers the kid's eyes so he can't see the bear eating the fake fish. It was a pretty funny commercial. Fish could be just that's just an alert. Yeah. The other features of a KOA pond stone wall may be an Asian-looking bridge with set to sea. Well, that's what you're planning to put on your layout, Dwight? Maybe a fountain with water around it. Yeah, that could happen. I don't know if they have a working fountain. Then you have to have real water. Have to wait and see. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I didn't know if it was a bass or a trout or something. Yeah. Never had that happen, Russ. But yeah, real water. I've seen one layout when I was at a not not on YouTube, but it was real, and it was at like a I don't remember the name of the place, but they had a real waterfall there. They had water going down, but it was nowhere near any track. So it was just cycling through. Then also I seen um, what are those places that have they look like buckets and they go around and the water comes up and then they dump it out and um, I don't know what they're called, but you could have one as long as it's not. Yeah, yeah, the bigger scales. You can make more realistic stuff, but I don't know. Would be interesting to see um, water. Yeah, well, not real water. Yeah. No, it all depends. Yeah, that's correct. Or man, that's right, John. They don't mix. Yeah, water. Yeah, for grinding power, for generating power or grinding grain. Right. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, yeah, that's the whole problem, Ken. And not leaking anywhere, like onto the floor. You walk with no shoes on, and you have a big puddle of water you step in, and you go, where the hell did that come from? Yeah, yeah. I don't know how they run on wet track. That's what puzzles me about outdoor trains. The track is exposed to rain and it's exposed to snow if you're in that region. So the more work and effort too. The detail is easier if it's in bigger scale. Yes, I had it at the bottom of a trestle away from track until it made a puddle on the floor, drained, and never did any more. Right. Exactly, Ken. Bob K. It's Steve C. idea, and he wants to be standing by it. Is that where he's going to put that in his shed layout, Dwight? Some have dead rail setups on their outside trains. Do they? Well, I don't know. Seems that the wheels would slip on wet rails. You couldn't have any incline or anything like that. Yeah, put a fan on the layout and watch all your scenery blow all over the place, right? But yeah, I guess there's so many things you can do if you wanted to. I'll stick with the Woodland Scenics water effects. Okay, Bob, see you in a bit. So, yeah, definitely interesting challenges. That's correct. It's so let me just see if I can show you what I did. It's not clear enough. There we go. See, here's the signals I put up on the subway system. You can see one here. You can see one here. This one here is the other direction. There's one back there the other direction. There's one way down there. And then there's one on the other side. So getting them out, and then I had to pull the panels off and everything to get them to work in there and everything. It was a real big project. Let me see, is this one here? You can't see them in here. They're further down the line. Oh, wait a minute. There's one there, and there's one there. But they're in there. But I got the subway system all back together. It was I had a lot of panels pulled down because I was working on that stuff and everything. Yes. Yeah, I'll bring that up again. Yeah, there's hobos over here, and then this side here is homeless people. Russ, uh, and there's I simulated fire there. They're standing around the fire. That's oh, what's that company? I get their I get their lights from there, and they have the flashing. That's a flashing red and a flashing yellow light, and that makes it look like a fire. So that's what that scene is. And when the train goes around with the camera car on it, it picks that up too. So yeah, that's what that is, Russ. Good eye. And let's see, this one here, we showed that one already. It's too white, but you can see signals here, here. There's two there going the other direction, and then down by that fan, there's one, and there's one on the other side. So, thanks, Russ. Thanks, Ken. Those all those characters are 3D printed that I made. Like these are just workers, and then on this scene here, these were the hobos from Woodland Scenics, and the homeless people also from Woodland Scenics. But a couple of homeless people I found and that made 3D print files. And this here is this the poop from the 3D printing on the filament, and I just threw that down in there to fill up the hole. See, there's a hole there. I tried to fill that up. I got one of these days I'll figure out what I can put in that hole to fill it up because you can see it's a hole, and this filled this hole up good, but that one there, it's in between the tracks, so I have to get something very low to fill it in. So, and that's going to, you can see going to 34th Street Station. That's 34th Street Station down there. So now that I got it all back together, I'm just about ready to run that train, but I don't have the signals working yet. So I got to wait until I get that booster so I can run those trains with the signals up there. Then I can do my new video. So it'll have the subway trains running, and because these are the lights after I dimmed them. Before they were really bright, they're dimmed down, and that makes it a little lighter in there. And so, yeah, I can do that. I'll have Barbara paint up a piece of paper and then just put it in there. Make it some color. You can just lay it in there. I think that's the only spot that I have a hole. All the other, all the other scenes, I don't see no holes in them. I don't think I can get under the tracks because they're glued down now, Bob. I glued the tracks on the subway system in certain spots so that it wouldn't move. Yeah, leftovers are always good. It's just the signals were driving me crazy. And then I finally figured out that the amps were the problem. So now what I'm doing is Barbara came over today and we started testing the signals, and I found out which ones were working and not working. And on this one layout here, I had five or six of them. And I took the lights off of the layout and reset them at the workbench and tested them. I have a green, yellow, and red LED that I soldered together in a cluster, and then it has alligator clips on it, and then I clip that to the light it, and then I can test the light it for all the aspects. So that's what I do, and it works. And then I find out if the light it's good or it's not good. So I had to replace two lighteds on this one layout of the six. They work, but they don't work. So I got to send them back to NCE. I'm making up a one package. I'll send when I get done with this, then I'll mail them out in one package instead of sending them at one at a time. Then they'll repair them. So what's happening with the light is that on the layout, the signal is off. It's blank. And I go to address the address from the Power Pro, and I go select that address, and I want to do pollen season. Well, glad I don't have allergies. I don't envy anybody with allergies. So what happens is that the light it, I do a reset on the light it first. And that's by pushing the button on the light it. And then the LED on the light it is supposed to flash for up to a minute. And then you can program the light it with a new address or whatever. And if that doesn't work, some of them I pull down, I hit the button and no light. So then I got to do a factory reset. So I have to do a factory reset on the lighting. And that means you got to go and select. There's a couple of commands you have to do, and you send a CV a certain value, and then that resets the light it back to factory default, and then the LED comes on. Then you can hit the button, and then it flashes, and then you can configure it. Even after all that, and then you can change the aspects, and everything works. And then I do another test. I test by turning off the power. Then I turn back on the power, and the light doesn't come back on. So that means it's something wrong with the light. If the light does come on, thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. And if it doesn't come on, then I have to reset it again. Then it works with the aspects, changing all the aspects, red, yellow, and green. But when you turn off the power, it doesn't come back on, or it does come back on, and then you can't change the aspects. So there's something wrong with it. So found contractor to remove bad floor in shop and redo slab in West Virginia waiting on price now. Floor is just leftover concrete pours in a messy, only 1 inch in most spots. Yeah, 1 inch. That's not very thick. Well, it was just a floor in the shop. I don't know. When I poured concrete floors in my house in the lower level, I made them 6 to 8 inches, not anything less. Yeah, probably not, Bob. Probably not sound. Um, yeah, you need 4 inches per shop. Yeah, I always made mine 6 to 8 inches thick when I did my house. Never would do anything less. So that's enough said about houses stuff. But so like I say, um, I got the one done. I'll turn the trains on later and check those signals again and make sure that they work. Then I can go to the next town, and the one town, all the lights were out. So I have to go and reset all of the lights. And I talked to NCE about it, and he said you can do it right on the system, but I'm not comfortable with all the lights I have, and I'm just not uncomfortable with doing them there. So I just take the time to remove them from the layout. It's a couple of all I got to do is unscrew it from the terminal block and unclip it from the bus line and bring it to the workbench and work on it there. And that way I can control it a lot better. So that's what I decided to do. Yeah, 150 square feet is a lot of concrete. Yes, it is. 30 by 50. Yeah, it's well, what's a yard of cement cost nowadays? When I built my house, I needed to pour the footings and then the floor in the lower level. And I think I paid, this is 1979 prices, 162 a yard. Nah, that can't be right. $162 a yard. I paid $8 a yard in 1979 for a yard of cement. You're telling me that's $162? That's 162 a yard, Ken? Wow. Yeah, 162 a yard. Holy shit, that's a lot. And that's what probably 10 yards you got there. Did you how many yards did you calculate, Ken? 15 yards? Holy crap. You're gonna have to take a mortgage out on just for the concrete. Yeah, I had a guy come over to my house and said, "Oh, can we come out and give you an estimate on your vinyl?" I said, "Ah, yeah, sure. I just wanted to hear." And he saw my model railroading, and he really liked it, and he subscribed to my channel and everything, and it was going to be over $50,000 to put new vinyl on my house. I said, "Well, let me think about it for a while." That's replacing the siding, the underneath, the eaves, everything, and then downspouts, the gutters, and all that stuff would all be yeah, for over $50,000. But it would have looked really cool because um, the siding was going to make my house look like a container car, and the front door was going to look like railroad tracks. It would have been really cool to have that done. That price is to remove old, take out part of fill, and we did. Oh, okay. Hey, Ronald, welcome. How you doing tonight? Okay. Yeah, so they're removing the old stuff and then re-leveling it off, and then they'll pour down the new stuff. So that's an overall price to do all that work. I got you. Then that's not too bad because that's a lot. That's and then they'll get rid of the old stuff too. They're not going to leave it there, right? So, yeah, yeah. See, I can do my own vinyl too, and he told me something interesting though. At least I learned a lot from him being here. Vinyl, that's right. Vinyl originally was made from recycled plastic. They sent all the recyclables over to China. China would redo them and make it into plastic, and then that's how they made the vinyl siding. Well, that's why your vinyl siding gets mold on it, and you have to have a power washer, and you have to clean it off all the time and everything, right? Now they make vinyl out of PVC. That's why it's more expensive. So um, it's that's why it's more expensive. And well, the door was an Anderson door, and my door the door would cost it was the door was $15,000 just for the door. That's a front door, and the reason why it's so expensive is because I have two side windows on both sides. So, and it's a wide door and everything like that. So that's why it was expensive. So, but it would have looked cool if I would have done it. But I can do vinyl myself. It's not hard to put up vinyl, but my vinyl is still good. I have to power wash it once a year. That's no big deal. I got a power washer, so what's the big deal? Yeah. So it would have looked cool to have like a container looking house with the train theme and stuff like that. But, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. I don't have a money tree in my backyard. Matter of fact, I don't have no trees in my backyard. So can't get money that way. So just crazy. I don't know if I can easily. Nah, I'll do it for next week. I forgot about this week. So, but yeah, yeah. So, well, I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I've been on here for a little over an hour now, and try to keep it short and sweet tonight. Yeah, you get holes and stuff like that. You know, that's what happens, though. Okay, John. Um, yeah, so I'm going to call it an evening, guys. I'd like to thank everybody for stopping in tonight and spending time with me here. And next week, Alfonso, I have to get up to the top level and get that out here. Okay, Ronald. Thanks a lot. Everybody have a great night. And don't forget to watch Jim Tedesco tomorrow at 6 p.m. And we'll catch you all later on. Take care and enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you all later. Have a good night. Have a good one, Ken. John, thanks a lot. Have a nice trip to Kansas City. Take care. Drive safely. Good night, Bob. Thanks a lot, Dwight. Have a good one. We'll catch you later. KC Barbecue. Very good. Enjoy. Oh, industry.